put the leg over the head, and raise my hip. All right. The next position here, leg up please, is when the person is on the process of passing the guard and he keeps the head so high that I can't even think about doing the triangle. He's too far away. In this case, once again please, when you start doing this, you can go directly for his leg, allow your body to spin around, and put the leg over the head so that you can then complete the arm lock right here. So if he keeps the head up high enough that you don't feel you're going to have the opportunity to get the triangle, use this hand under his leg on this side. By uncrossing your legs and curving your body forward, you can spin underneath him, just like this. Your body should be arched up so that just one point on your back touches the ground. Allow yourself to spin, controlling this arm so he doesn't take the arm away. Leg over his head, and hold the arm, and then raise your hip. You want to walk to this side, please. So he puts the leg up. Yeah, he's going to pass the guard here. My legs are around. His head is too high, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know if he's going to drop to the shoulder so that I can catch him on a triangle or not. So my hand goes in here. Uncross your legs. Allow your body to spin around. Catch him on the neck. Hold the wrist, and raise your hip. If he loses his balance and fall down, the arm lock, you know, I can maintain the arm lock and break the same way. So it works the same way. So leg up. Goes in here. 1, 2, and then raise the hip to hyperextend the arm. Sometimes when I try to catch the person on the arm lock here, he kind of tucks the elbow down and lowers his head. Now I can't catch his head anymore with my leg. From this position here, just push him with the leg over, and you can end up on top of him like this. Puts the leg up. I'm controlling the arm here and the hand on the collar. He's going to pass the guard. I decide to go for the arm lock by holding his leg and spin around. He tucks the head down. From here, I bring the leg over, push the leg over, and I find myself mounted on him. Be aware that when you sometimes decide to go for the arm lock, and the person is getting ready to pass the guard here, doing this, and you decide to go for the arm lock, this leg, as it swings out that way, it gives my body the momentum. I'm using my leg to carry my hip with it. I throw the leg away, and my hip is pushed that way. But what flips him over, the hand here is just as a guide to his leg. What really pushes him over, move back, Royce, for a second. This is the leg that pushes the person over. I can just push him across as I sweep the leg down and end up on top of him this way. Grab the leg, spin around, push him over, and mount. Leg up, please, once again. This leg swings out, moves this way, and the top leg pushes him over. Leg up, boys. Catch the leg. This leg swings your hip out, and again, this leg inside pushes him over and end up on top of him. So the trick, once again, is for you to feel comfortable enough and when to shift from one attack to another. You kind of mix them up until you start letting your body feel flowing into the more comfortable and more natural position to follow up with. Another variation for you to shift the position when the person is on your guard is when he's in this position like this, and he decides to stand up. Okay. As he gets up, both hands can be on his collar, on his elbows like this. Uncross your legs, and your feet will fall right into position inside of his hip. From here, as you uncross your legs, your feet will fall right into position. From here, you want to straighten your legs slightly and hold his weight off the ground like this. My legs are straight and the weight is on my leg here, so there's absolutely no effort. Just the legs are controlling him. Pull your head out of the way so he doesn't land on your face, and end up mounted on him like this. It will be very easy for you to roll over him if you make sure to keep your feet glued on his hip. You don't want to just push him away from you. Instead, as you straighten your legs and tip his head down, his own body weight carries you over if you keep your feet, as I said, glued to his hip. So from here, you raise your legs, straighten your legs, pull his head down, and by keeping your feet, adjusted to his hip, he carries you over. Once again, Hoist, please. You can also do is when he gets up, just uncross the legs and he falls right into it. One more time, please. So as he's getting up, if I just uncross the legs, he falls into the legs. I don't have to, let him carry me off the ground and then uncross the legs. So this is one option. I keep my legs crossed and then I uncross the legs and catch him. The other one, is as he gets up, I just open the legs and he finds himself right with both of my feet on his hip. Raise the legs and find yourself mounted on him at this point. The other one, get up. One. Always want to end up on top of him. It's always better for you to find yourself in a mounted position. So that's your objective. One here, both feet on the hip. Raise him up and end up mounted. If you find yourself, once again, Hoist, please, with your opponent inside of your legs, and you, for example, are working on a choke on his neck, and he decides to stand up, you don't have to let go of the neck to grab his elbows. Keep your hands on the choke like this, both feet on his hip, raise the legs so that you can continue with the application of the choke without letting go of the grip on the neck. So the fact that he gets up doesn't necessarily get him free of the choke. It turns the position around so that you can end up mounted on him still with the choke hold on his neck. Another option of what could happen in this case is if the person gets up like this and you have his arms in this position here, you uncross your legs, and instead of throwing him forward by putting your feet on his hip, you now rest your knees on his chest in front of him. Let go of his arms, grab his ankles, and then push him back with your knees by raising your body. From here, put your knee on the ground and find yourself mounted on him like this. Once again, 8. So from here, you uncross your legs, letting your body drop to the ground again. Keep your knees pushed inwards together, like this. Grab his ankles, and then as you raise your hip, push him backwards. At this point, put your knee on the ground, and then come around to mount on top of him like this. Uncross your legs. Put your knees together like this. You don't want to push the person back. with your calves that way. That's not, you don't have the same amount of leverage if you push this way. The trick is to keep your knees together so that as you trap his legs and raise your body up, you have the knees pushing on his chest. It's much more powerful movement if you do this action here. Put then your knee on the ground and find yourself mounted on top of him. So if the person stands up on your guard, when you uncross your legs, don't push him back with this. There's not enough leverage here. The trick is to uncross your legs, grab his ankles, and push your knees this way. Once again, please on this side. Guys, here, he gets up, uncross your legs, lower your knees, grab his feet, and push your knees this way so that he falls back from the driving power of the knees pushing him back. One more time, Horace, please. Grab the ankle, push back, and then immediately follow up by putting your knee on the ground and coming on top of him. Establish again a mounted position. The other side, please. Push him back. Knee on the ground and find yourself in a mounted position. Wait, okay. If when I cross my legs to push him back, he holds on to this, and he doesn't fall back, it's time for me to then put my feet back on his hip, grab the elbows, lift the legs, keep my feet glued on his hip, and end up on a mounted position like this. So if he gets up, I grab his feet, the knee, I'm pushing him back. He doesn't fall back. My hands will grab his elbow, lower my hip, bring my feet in, move my head out of the way, lift him over, and end up in a mounted position. Of course, if he keeps the arm raised this way, it's time for us to look into putting the hands on the chest, bringing the leg around, and then completing with the arm lock, as we have seen before. All right. One more option here. If the person is inside of your legs like this and stands up and is getting ready to pass the guard from a standing up position like this, he's still vulnerable to get caught on the triangle that we just saw. From here, raise the head and squeeze his neck. So the same triangle that we saw on the ground a few minutes ago, done from here, from a kneeling position, it can be done when the person is standing up. Once again, Horace, please. One. The hand goes inside, he's trying to pass the guard. I control the arm. The leg goes across his neck. Spin my body away. Catch the leg under here. And now raise the hip. Get him on the choke. Another option is if he's passing the guard, going for this, I can grab a hold of his leg, spin around, and get him on the arm lock right here to then raise my hip and hyperextend the elbow. So the same arm lock that we saw a couple of moments ago when Horace was on his knees can also be done if the person is standing up. So I'm here, he brings the hand inside to pass the guard, lowering the leg, I grab a hold of his leg, allow my body to spin around, catch his neck, hold the arm here, and raise my hip. Be sure to use this hand to control his elbow so he doesn't pull out. So from here, he's bringing the hand inside the leg. I got the arm controlling this, second hand is here, my body spins around, the leg catches over his neck, one hand here, the other hand is still controlling here. Lift your hip up on the arm and then raise your hip. All right. For the next sequence, we're going to see another way to reverse the position. Sometimes you find an attacker on top of you here trying to squeeze your neck, doing something like this. Use your legs to push him back. With your hand, deflect his arm. And again with your legs, allow him to bring him forward, pull him forward with your legs. So that now you have his elbow on the ground next to you. Your hands hold each other's wrists like this. You hold the hands like that to trap his arm. The idea is to keep this arm pinned next to my neck so that he can't get the hand out. The foot will go to the ground. Scoot your hip away, out from underneath him. Inch yourself around so that this hand can now find his wrist. From here, secure the wrist. Slip this hand. Once you have this hand under control, slip this hand out of here. Leave your shoulder on the ground and climb up to hook this leg inside of his foot, his leg like that. Then you run behind his back and you can go for that choke that we saw on the other previous tape. So the attacker is on top of you here, bugging your neck. You protect your neck from being squeezed. Use your legs to kind of shift the weight away to give you a little more breathing space. Push the arm aside and pull him forward with your legs. By having him inside of your guard, you can pretty much control his weight. See, my legs determine where do I want his body weight. So if he's bugging me with this, and I have my legs crossed around his waist, I can push him back, deflect the arm, and then pull him forward to secure the position here. I want to control his upper body. From this position, as I said, put your foot on the ground, keeping this snug so he doesn't break away from you. Scoot your hip away, inching yourself away. I loosen up the grip around his neck just enough to allow me to go around him until I can find his wrist with this hand. This leg drops under his legs. The leg on the back side here goes over, hooks inside of his leg. Climb on up, and you're now on his back to go for the choke from here. Move this side here, please. So he's got the arm across the neck, squeezing my neck, rocking back, deflect the arm, and trap the neck again, just like this. Keep this controlled, secure, so he can't pull his arm out. Foot on the ground, scoot your hip away, inch yourself around, still securing this. Hold the wrist, bring your leg inside. This hand now can be slipping away. Hook the leg, climb up. From here, put the weight forward, and you're on his back for the choke. One more time, please, boys. Rocking back, push the arm away, deflecting his arm from your neck, and secure the arm. Tira o braço aqui, guys. You want to just stay with him if you have to for a little bit. Ride the position so that the arm can't be pulled out. Once you have this to a comfortable position of control, foot on the ground, scoot your hip away. I can look with my eye here, I can see his hand until I can find the wrist. Once I secure the wrist, this leg goes in, slide my hand and out, hook my leg, use my shoulder for support, and climb up so that I can find myself on his back, ready to go for the choke. Let me do this by myself 1 sec here. The person's inside of my legs, with the arm or squeezing my neck or putting the weight on my chest, rocking back, deflect the hand, and then pull him forward. Secure your wrist. This is what I want to do first to make sure that he doesn't pull the arm out. From here, put your foot on the ground, and by raising your hip slightly off the ground, it makes it very easy for you to scoot your hip away. You kind of inch yourself around if you have to, a little bit at a time. Always kind of sliding your shoulder back. From here, secure the wrist so that he can't turn this way anymore. Leave your shoulder on the ground. It's a lot easier for you to get up than if you try to put your elbow on the ground. Use your shoulder here for support or your head on the ground. From here, shoot the leg over his back and climb up. Leg goes over his back and climb up. From this position, you can now naturally just pull this arm out. And you find yourself in a position to choke your opponent. Boys, let's try this on this side, please, one time. Sometimes if the person's got the weight on your neck, and you rock him back, and you push him aside, you bring him close, and you control the arm, and everything is going the way you want, and you start getting ready to go to his back, and when you start scooting your hip away, he puts that leg up to prevent you from climbing over. He's kind of bracing himself that way and leaning the weight this way. I still want to control his wrist. This time though, I'm going to bring this hand under his leg, and with this leg here, I will let my weight go this way to develop a momentum and end up on top of him. Get into the mounted position. One more time, please, Lawrence. So I'm here, he's got the blade of the arm across the neck. I push him back, deflect the move, and find myself in this position. My plan is the same. I want to go to his back. As I start getting ready to go to his back, he puts the leg up and starts feeling my motion, and he resists by leaning the weight to the opposite side. I want to control his wrist, bring my hand under, secure the leg. The trick here is to use this leg as a way to throw his balance forward by doing this movement. I want to use the weight of the leg as a form of momentum, and then swing the leg down to end up on top of him. Walking back, big back here. Control the hand. Get a hold of his arm. If the arm is free and you can't reach that arm, this hand can also grab under his armpit right here, but still this hand goes for the leg. Allow your body to use the leg this way, and over he goes, so that you can end up on top of him. Turn the other side, please. You've got the blade on the neck. Rock him back, deflect the hand, secure your own grip. Okay? As I prepare to go to his back, he puts the leg up and start leaning the weight this way. I feed the hand, grab his wrist, like here. Control the leg, turn your hip around, swing the leg over and under, so that you can end up on top of him in a mounted position like this. So he's pushing the neck, you rock him back with the leg, deflect the arm, and go into this position. As I prepare to go to his back, he raises the leg to prevent me from going around him. I feed the hand to the wrist, bring my hand under this leg, spin my hip around, use the leg to develop the momentum, and end up on top of him. At this point, you find yourself in this position. If you want, you can just strap the neck, roll him over, fold the elbow down, turn him around, and then go for the choke. Let's do a quick review. So if the person is inside of your legs, and raise the leg to pass the guard like this, you uncross your legs, rest your weight on your calf, on his leg, scoot your hip away, slide your shoulder back, and scissor to end up on the mounted position. Once again. Uncross your legs, rest your calf on his leg, swivel the hip away, fit your legs, move your shoulder back, and then scissor with the leg. Once again, please, knee down. If he keeps his knees down, like this on the ground, you can also put your foot on the ground, scoot your hip away, fit the legs this way, control the arm, and scissor with the leg to end up mounted. So if his knees are still on the ground, foot on the ground, scoot your hip away, fit your legs this way here, slide your shoulder back, and using both legs, scissor him across to go to the mounted position. If he puts the leg up and you scoot your hip away and he braces himself by spreading his base down, from here you can put this leg onto his knee and either push the knee away and pull the arm back to end up mounted on him like this. Once again, please hoist. Leg up. Scoot your hip away. He braces himself. You can bring that leg all the way out. Catch inside of his knee. Slide your shoulder away. Push the leg. And then mount. Let's do this too, hoist from the other side, please. So he puts the leg up. I'm going to scoot the hip away, but he braces himself by putting both knees on the ground. Now I can't sweep as easy because he's got too much of a wide base. So from here, I slide my shoulder back, put my foot on his knee, and either push the knee and pull the arm and end up mounted on him this way, or leg up, scoot my hip away, get ready for this, bring my leg all the way out. Catch inside of his knee, like a fish hook. I'm just hooking this up right here. Push the knee away, slide my shoulder back, lift the leg up, and end up mounted on him like this. The other move we're reviewing here is if he's on the process of passing the guard, he lowers his shoulder. My leg goes across, foot on the ground, scoot your hip away, bring your leg over your own foot. As I said, if you need to bring your hand to fit the leg real snug here, do so. Bring the arm out of the way, and then squeeze the neck. So he puts the leg up, the hand goes inside. As soon as the hand goes under the leg here, the leg goes across the neck, foot on the ground, scoot your hip to the side, leg over, and then raise your hip. If when you try, he's passing the guard again. If I try for the triangle, but he raises the head, I can't catch my leg anymore. Scoot your hip away, bring the leg over his head, hold the wrist and hyperextend the elbow by straightening, lifting your hip up. Leg goes in here under the leg, scoot my hip away and do this. As I said, if you want to just spin around by using the support here, it's okay. Or if you want to put this back leg on the ground to move your hip, it's also okay. And then raise your hip. Leg up, boys. When I secure the elbow with this hand, and I have my hand under his leg, and I do the spinning around, would also position me for the arm lock from here, regardless if I'm going for the triangle or not. So he puts the leg up, I have the arm under control on this side, my hand reaches under his ankle here on this side, uncross your legs and allow your hip to just swing freely this way, or by putting your foot on the ground, raising your hip and moving out. Either way, leg over the head, secure the arm and raise your hip. If when I do this move and I get ready to spin around by turning my hip, he lowers his body down and I can't catch him on the arm lock anymore. I spin my body like I did, my leg pushes him across and I swing this leg downwards, lifting the leg up to end up on a mounted position. Once again, hoist please. So he's here, I control the arm, find the leg, foot on the ground, scoot my hip away. He lowers his head so I can't catch him on the arm lock anymore. But I'm still going to use the momentum of this leg and this upper leg here to push him over and end up on the mounted position. If the person is in my guard and stands up, uncross your legs, control both of his elbows, allow your feet to fall into his hip, straighten your leg up, move your head, keep your feet glued on his hip so that you can end up in a mounted position. Stands up, uncross your legs, control his elbow, raise your leg up, and end up in the mounted position. If he stands up and is now, oh, there's another one here, sideways. There you go. From here, I uncross my legs, put both of my knees on his chest, get a hold of his ankle, and raise your back straight, pushing the knees on his chest so that he falls backwards. And from here, put your knee on the ground and end up on the mounted position. Stand up, uncross your legs, catch his ankles, put your knees together on his chest, raise your hips straight up, he falls back, put your knee on the ground, and end up on the mounted position. If he stands up and tries to pass the guard, from here, you can also try you go for the triangle at this point. From here, trap the leg, squeeze the neck. That's one option. The other one is as he's passing the guard, I grab the leg right here, bring my other leg over his head, control the arm with both hands, raise your hip, and break the arm here. On your knees, please. If he's on your guard and he's just putting the blade of the arm across the neck, rock him back with your legs, deflect the hand, bring him forward, securing your hand like this so he can't get his arm out. Put your foot on the ground, inch yourself away, control how much you loosen up on the grip to allow you to go to his back. Find his wrist, bring the leg inside of between his legs, climb on up, keeping your shoulder on the ground for balance, put the weight forward, and you are now on his back for a choke or whatever you want to do at that point. He's squeezing the neck, push him back, deflect the hand, secure the arm. As I get ready to go to his back, he braces himself for resistance here by putting the leg up and leaning the weight because I can feel his weight pushing this way. At this point, I still want to secure the wrist, get a hold of his leg, use the leg here to develop the momentum, raise him over, and find myself once again in the mounted position. Well, my friends, this concludes tape number 2. The techniques that we saw, once again, should be practiced with ease, trying to feel the balance of the movement instead of trying to force the movements to take place. On tape number 3, we're going to show you how to handle the cross-mount position. We'll see you then.
Hello, my name is Rorion Gracie. Since my brother Royce's impressive victories in reality fighting matches, everyone now recognizes the importance of ground fighting. As a result, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has become the #1 source of Jiu-Jitsu instruction in the world. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Intermediate was designed to build on the foundation that was established in our first series, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Basics. If you have practiced and mastered the techniques presented in the basics, you will find that your effectiveness in self-defense will be greatly enhanced by this new intermediate series. Many people mistakenly assume that a man on his back during a ground fight is at a disadvantage. They are wrong. In this tape, I will show you there's no such a thing as a bad position if you know what you're doing. In this tape, we're going to show you how to initiate an attack from the guard, which is a very common position you might find yourself in against a much bigger and stronger opponent.
First, let's review some of the techniques we saw in the basic series. We have the arm lock when you hold the wrist, uncross your legs, sit up, hold your own wrist, plant your feet on the ground, and then lean back. Scoot your hip away, put your leg over his back, and by keeping his elbow glued to your chest, torque forward. One more time. Hold the wrist, sit up, feet on the ground for balance. Hold your own wrist, push off your legs, lean back, scoot your hip away, glue his arm to your chest, keep your leg over his back, and then torque forward. The other side, please, Royce. So from here, you have your opponent inside of your legs, in your guard. Hold the wrists, uncross the legs, and sit up. Hold your own wrist. At this point, you want to kind of hug this arm towards your body like this, so that he's part of you here. Use your legs to drive the weight back. Scoot your hip away. Leg over his back. And by keeping this grip and the arm glued to your chest, torque forward. The idea is to bring his arm in an L shape forward this way. So glue the elbow to the chest and bring the hand forward. One last time, Hoist. So from here, hold the wrist, sit up. Use your legs to push back with. Hold your wrist, lean back, scoot your hip away. Leg over his back, glue his arm to your chest, and then torque forward. Another technique that we saw on tape on the basic series is when you find yourself in this position and you're trying to go for the arm lock, the opponent holds his wrist behind your back, preventing you from being able to execute the arm lock. In this case, uncross your legs, sit up, bring your hand around the neck, and this hand holds your own wrist. This is what you're looking for. When you go around the neck this way here, be sure you don't go under his arm. You should go in front of his neck. Hold your wrist, cinch up the movement to bring the blade of the arm across in front of his throat, way up. Then as you lay back, cross your legs and push him away, pulling the hand. The idea is to bring it up here and with the legs push him away. So in this position, go for the arm lock. He holds his wrist behind my back, making it difficult for me to insist and pursue the attack to the arm. My feet are on the ground, sit up straight. It's very important to find yourself comfortable in a comfortable base at this moment. Bring the hand around the neck, hold your own wrist. As I said, you want to hold your wrist this way so that you can bring the blade of the arm in front of his neck. Like this. Find your own wrist, lay back, cross your legs, and like traction, your legs will push him away and the hands will bring his neck upwards. Excuse me, Wes, for a second. The movement is here. Okay, you go for the arm lock, and he blocks and holds around your waist. Find yourself in this kind of base. Bring your hand around the neck, this way. Hold your own wrist. As you lay back, cross your legs, and with the legs you push his body away and stretch the neck upwards. That's the move. One. He holds the arm behind my back, sit up, bring the hand around the neck. I hold my own wrist, adjust it way up, legs cross, and push him back. One last time on the other side, please. Go for the arm, he holds the wrist. Find yourself in a comfortable balance here, a good base. Bring the hand around the neck this way. Hold your own wrist. Cinch it up. Lay back and push him away with the legs and pull with the hands. All right. As your partner gets ready, or your opponent gets ready to pass the guard by holding the arm here and put the leg up so that he can accomplish the idea of passing the guard, that's his objective. He wants to do this move. Okay? Once again, please hoist. Once we get to this position and he does this move here, we're going to work on a sweeping movement right now. Your hand should always be on the collar. This hand always on the collar. So as soon as we start, knee down please for a second. As soon as we start the match here, my hand opens the collar for this hand. If he does not secure my arm with this hand, this goes into the neck as we saw before, and go to the choke, and I can then bring him down and squeeze his neck. So the reason this arm is holding the bicep is to prevent my hand from going to the choke. So I have this arm trapped so I can't choke him. He now puts the leg up and is getting ready to pass the guard. As soon as he puts this leg up, I'd like you to uncross your legs, rest your weight on this leg here, on the calf of your leg on his thigh. Swing your hip away, and from here, the leg lays flat on the ground, the other knee goes across his body like this, and in a scissor-like move, sweep the man down and find yourself in a mounted position. One more time, please. Turn this way a little bit. Okay, so he holds my arm to prevent the choke. He puts the leg up. At this moment, I want to uncross the legs, rest the weight here, and swivel the hip away. What's going to make this technique easy to be executed by you is that you don't try to drag your behind on the ground. There's too much friction. It's going to feel too heavy. The trick is to let your leg rest in here on his calf and also put the weight on your shoulder on the ground. By resting my weight on his leg and my shoulder on the ground, it allows my hip to swivel away. I'm not touching the ground. I'm off the ground for an inch. It's very easy to swing my leg. I uncross the leg, slide my hip away, and I find myself here. The foot should fit right around his waist like this. And from this position, the legs will now scissor and flip him over so that I can end up in a mounted position. One more time, please. Lift the leg up, uncross the legs, rest your leg here. In a sense, the weight of this leg, as I lift my hip up, I kind of swing my hip away. That's the move. The leg falls in position, bring the other knee across, and control the leg. From here, one leg pulls and the other leg pushes in a scissor-like movement. Sweep him across, and you find yourself mounted like that. You may find that when you get to this position and you slide your hip away, it could be of major help for you if you slide your shoulder back this much. In other words, rest the weight on your hip and raise your shoulder off the ground a little bit. Because by moving out of the way, he's already leaning with the weight that way. So it'll give you a lot more control on his weight. If from here, you simply raise your shoulder off the ground a little bit and move your head back. He's already tilted that way. Makes it a lot easier for your leg to sweep him over and end up in a mounted position. One last time, please, hoist. So he's in the guard here, puts the leg up, I uncross the leg, slide my hip away, move the shoulder back, just enough to increase your chances to tilt his weight off balance even easier. From here, the legs will scissor and mount. That's the plan. So from this position, he's got my arm, I have the hand on his neck. Okay, I'm going to rest my weight on his calf, which is going to be substituted by my foot on the ground right now. The trick is to swivel your hip away. This is the move. Bringing the leg across, slide your shoulder back this way. Just raise your shoulder off the ground 1 inch so that you can move back. And then the legs now scissor, and you find yourself mounted on your opponent. Okay. If he's got his knees on the ground, and he never raised the leg up to pass the guard, it's okay for you from here to also put the foot on the ground, legs across, uncross your legs, put your foot in the ground, raise your hip a little bit, scoot your hip away, bring your legs across, and sweep your opponents this way. It works just as good. One more time, please. From here, leg up. It's one variation to do this move. If he doesn't put the leg up and it's just stay here like this on my guard, I can also put my foot on the ground, scoot my hip away, and use the same principle, hooking my leg and catching the other leg this way. Let's turn this way a little bit, Hoist. Turn all the way around. Push the leg up, please. Rest my leg here, and I scoot my hip away. That's the move. My feet here, from here, scissor, and mount. That's one option. Once again, if he keeps his knees down, put the foot on the ground, just enough so I can raise my hip, scoot my hip away, put my legs in this position, slide your shoulder, and mount. Okay. Position again. Sometimes, put your leg up, please. When you're doing this move, the guy senses he might be thrown, he puts his knee on the ground and spreads his base, so he's now got a much better, wider base. It's harder for me to flip him over. In this case, once again, slide your shoulder back. This foot goes in front of his knee, and you can push the knee away and throw the guy over to end up mounted on him again like that. From here, foot on the ground. If he's got his knees on the ground, the same thing. Foot on the ground, scoot your hip away, and get ready for this. If he spreads his base, push the knee and pull this arm to stretch him to the side and end up mounted on him like this. So if he puts the leg up, rest your calf on his leg, scoot your hip away. I'm ready to throw. He puts his base back on the ground to resist, push the knee, and pull the arm to end up mounted on him this way. Turn around, Wes, please. I do this move. One thing you can do if you want at this point is if he spreads his base, is to bring this leg inside his leg here, making a hook this way. Now I can push the knee, and this hook gives even more control to lift him up, and I can end up on top of him this way. Ultimately, what you're looking for is to feel the balance of your opponent so that you can feel which way you want to take him. At this intermediate level, you're not just looking at exactly what you're doing, but you want to develop a sense of what else can be done in relation to the other positions that you're learning. Let us see now another finishing hold, a very practical one that we call the triangle. When a person is on the process of passing the guard and he starts to bring the hand inside the leg and his shoulder gets under your leg right here, this leg will plant itself on the neck, put your foot in the ground, scoot your hip away, bringing the arm across the side. This leg will be right here behind his neck, hugging him close to you with this. This leg will now go over your own foot like this, making a figure four like. If you need to pull your foot under, it's fine. From here, secure this, lock your knee over your own foot, and then squeeze with the legs and raise your hip. So there's one, bringing the hand under the leg, lowers the shoulder, the leg go over this way. Very important that you slide your hip out of the way here. You gotta move your hip to the side. Bring his arm across, fit the leg here and over. If you wanna put your hands behind his neck, you can do that to increase the pressure here. Or just by raising your hip will do it, or lift your hip up and squeeze. One time please, Royce. So I'm here with the hand on the collar. He lowers the shoulder on the process of passing the guard. Once his shoulder goes under the leg, bring the leg across to hold him down. Scoot your hip to the side. Bring the arm out of the way. Fit the leg over here. And then lift your hip up and bring his head down. One. Bring the hip across is the trick. 2, 3. Shut the brass. Sometimes when he's passing the guard and gets the shoulder under the leg and you're thinking about going for the triangle, he raises his head. What we do now here is that we slide the hip around and put the leg over the head so that you can then hyperextend the arm by raising your hip. You want to use your hand if you want here for balance. If you want to use this hand, slide your hip away, leg over, and then hyperextend the arm by raising your hip. Once again, the trick is to allow your body to pivot underneath him. Lower the hand, Royce.
Tem que virar mais pra cá, hein, cara.
Lower the shoulder here. Bring your body way out. The more you spin your body under, the easier it will be to do this. Bring the leg over, raise your hip, and then straighten the arm like that. So one more time. He raised the hand, start lowering the shoulder to get to the leg. The objective is always to get him on the triangle. That's the plan. Always. This is the objective. One more time, please. If he raises the head at this point and you lose the triangle, that's when you want to spin around, controlling his arm with this hand, and the other hand goes for his wrist, raising your hip up. So this hand stays here so he doesn't pull his arm out. He's going for this. By the time he dives into the shoulder under the leg, I want to get him on the triangle if I can help it. Always. Bring the hand around and then raise your hip to choke. Okay. All right. Here, secure the arm with this hand so he can't pull it away. If you try to go for the triangle and he raises the head, allow yourself the spinning here. Second hand goes to the arm and then raise your hip. Just lift the hip. Leg up, please. He's going for the triangle here. I'm thinking about the triangle, always. Right here. That's the objective, is to trap the leg under here. The plan is to get the person at triangle. If, one more time, Royce. He lowers the triangle, the shoulder. If I can't, because he raises his head, and I can't catch my leg wrapping up on my own foot, that's when I'm going to grab his leg here, spin the body around, controlling his arm, and then bring this hand over to raise your hip up, hyperextending the elbow. Let me turn this way here one time, please. So the leg is up. You lower the shoulder. The plan is always to go for the triangle. That's the idea. Always get your fit. Time, please. and then squeeze by raising the hip up. Slide the hip away. If he raises the head way up and I can't catch the leg on the triangle, I now spin around